Larika, for your thing. As you were talking about the Chirapunji Zin, I remember when I was in class 4th, we had a question, where is the higher rain? And I spelled it wrong, Chirapunji. So I got a red mark at that time, and I still remember. And I recently visited Chirapunji. It's a phenomenal place. And Mr. Narayan, and thank you for highlighting. Actually, I also prepared a presentation, assuming Mr. Excise Minister is going to be here. So I thought I'll also make a pitch on behalf of all of you. So if you know all of it, apologize, but we'll have a conversation. First of all, thank you for inviting and thank you for getting the opportunity to see it. I briefly went through a lot of exhibitions and it's very energizing, the amount of innovation which is coming and how much entrepreneurship which is coming here. I just have a couple of messages before I get into the topic. I think the topic was legacy brands and their journey in modern India. And I think I firmly believe that companies like ours, United Breweries, have a big leadership role to play to help step change the category. While the Karnataka is doing 30,000 crore revenue, but at least beer is highly underpenetrated. And as India is growing, there is significant need to step change the category to do that, and the industry has a role to play, and companies like us who have a history of more than 100 years in India have a big role to play to do that. So in the spirit of collaboration, I really would like to invite collaborators and entrepreneurs who really have ideas to reach out, and we will also reach out so that we can have some conversations around, okay, what does it mean to us and to the industry as well. So the topic which was given to me was legacy brands. I'm sure that this is an issue we face, that Kingfisher is a legacy brand. Are you a grandfather's brand or a modern brand? And then the topic was legacy brands in the modern India. And I was just thinking about, what does modern India means? Because the definition of modern India is very different. And all of us have a good interpretation of what modern India looks like. But keeping in context of our industry, what are the big macro trends which we need to keep in mind? And I think it's about rapid urbanization. The cities are becoming more and more congested, bigger. Urbanization is increasing. Globalization is happening. We talked about the awards which Indian companies are getting and the brands are getting. I was recently in New York for a party, and there were a few Fortune 500 CEOs as well, and the drink we had was Rampur. So, and it was just the pride to have something which is made out of India there. And pride in India is also increasing. We'll talk, and entrepreneurship, innovation to talk more on this. We all have heard this in various forums, and India is going to be a 7 trillion economy. But if you actually see the change in the last 5 years, we are in the right direction. And not many economies in the world, as Mr. Narayan said, who can actually boast about this level of growth. So economy is growing, the numbers are growing, revenues are growing, and this industry is growing. So there is significant opportunity for us. Next one. I think, to me, in modern India, the critical is going to be there is not one India. India is always multiple Indias. Whether you are in a consumer good industry, whether you are in an appliances industry, India is never one India. And even in our industry, we have to design to meet various consumer needs. There are people who are willing to pay absolute premium. There are taxpayers who are significantly increasing. But there are large chunk of India who are actually emerging middle class. They want better value, but they also are very, very value conscious. We are also people who are working very hard, and they also want to have fun. So I think the challenge for us is to design for all types of consumers in the modern India. And whether it is lower end or whether it is upper end, it is a part of it. I think, and this was one of my pitch to the regulators, that when they look at policy decisions, sometimes, we ignore the core of India, We keep taking duties up, keep taking prices up, and affordability becomes the major issue. And especially in our category or any category in India, there are 3 A's which matter, which is affordability, accessibility, and awareness. And our industry is plagued with all 3. It's a dark market. You cannot drive awareness on why better things. Accessibility is very poor. Only 100,000 stores in India, throughout the India, where you can actually get liquor. And then, affordability is a challenge because, you actually have to pay in hundreds, if not 500s, to actually get a good experience. So this is an industry which is plagued with all of the 3 things. But I think critical is, in modern India, is not only about premium, high-end. That's a business opportunity, and somebody can choose to play there. But modern India is going to be multiple Indias and multiple consumer cohorts. I think we talk about Gen Z and millennials, and one of the data I recently saw, we are the largest population, which we all know, versus China. But we are actually almost 20% of global millennials are in India. So we have to design for generations ahead of us versus we don't need to design for us. And I think millennials and younger generation are much more aware, much more digital savvy. They do more research. They make their own decisions. They have mindset to spend on experiences and all. And it is going to be important that we catch up on the trend, and we actually lead the trend as we come together on this. Women power is something we cannot ignore in our industry. And recently we did a lot of consumer work in the last 6 to 9 months. And I don't think industry has served women well in terms of the products and the choices. And today, we have almost 37% of participation of women in the workforce, which is up versus 23%. 1/3 of the bank accounts are held by women. So there is money there. 80% of the purchase decisions in most of the cases are influenced by them. And 1/10 of the spend is going in luxury and premium items to really do that, to do that. But when we look at alcohol, whether it is beer or wine, spirit, the penetration is still very, 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 very low. We recently launched our Queenfisher beer during World Women's Day. And I must tell you that we were ourselves pleasantly surprised on the response we got in the markets we launched, because the product was designed to meet the needs for consumers, the less bitterness, little bit sweeter, less alcohol, more sessionable. But this is another challenge, I think, for the industry, that how do we take all segments of consumer, but more importantly, how do we actually, when we talk modern India, we are only not talking only price points and designs. We are looking for designing for the consumers. Digitization is super, super critical, whether it is internet, subscribers, smartphones, UPI transactions, e-commerce, quick commerce. I think we also, this is a lot to catch up in the industry on this, right from the labeling, right from the knowledge about the product, the ingredients about this, the transparency on, right from source to the production, and to work on that. E-commerce. Recently, I met few government officials and chief ministers in the last days, and I always talk about e-commerce and making it convenience for consumers. I said there are only 30,000 bars, and not everyone can jump over there. But at least make it easy for people to drink at home who wants to drink at home, And then there are stores which has all these cages there. Like, I won't send my wife or sister or daughter to that store to buy a liquor. You feel like you're a criminal, and from the other side. But make it easy for consumer to have those experiences. And why the people who have money and who can afford to go to a 5-star hotel get a very different treatment than somebody who just want to have in their place to really do that. But this is another area where I think the industry needs to play a much more active role in the modern India to talk that. I think many of the entrepreneurs are here, and really salute you. I think we are the startups and the unicorns in India, and really the mission at which the India is growing. There is a lot of entrepreneurship spirit which is there in India, and we need to really leverage. And our sector cannot be behind. I know there's already a lot of innovation happening in various forms, but this is also a sector which there's a lot of things to unleash. I worked in a startup for 3.5 years before I came to UB to work that, and I think it's just the amount of problem solving which can be done. And we are also inviting a lot of startups to help us problem solve some of the solutions which are there for years. Like a very simple thing, we meet government officials in every state, but there is no record of who actually meets whom, what is the conversation, what is the follow-up, where is come together. So we actually got a startup to form an app for us, so that every time we create some knowledge bank, the history, when the policy changes, people don't understand, some of the rules on that. So right from ease of doing business, but also in the product design, in creating some excitement, there's a lot of work to be done on this. So in modern India, I believe there is a lot of work to be done. And this slide makes me really proud. And we have done some consumer work, and pride in India and our roots is at all-time high. 90% of the consumers we met, they believe, and Cantor actually also helped us to summarize that, 90% believe that India is better than the most. 35% growth in searches are related to India or Desi. So there's a growth on, when people put on Google search, the word Desi or India is going up. And 93% actually users want, there is an increase in YouTube when they watch Indian content. On Sunday, there was a Formula 4 event we were sponsoring in Chennai, and we had an after-event party, and there were, few influencers and celebrity we had invited, and everyone was saying, look, I'm a #1 chartbuster on Tamil song. I'm actually, we are organizing 30 concerts, but all in regional languages. And they were showing us the videos. There were 35, 40,000 people. But there's a lot of pride in regionalism, and India is also coming out. So it is our movement as an industry, and I think some of you are playing a significant role, and I think legacy brands like us, we also proud of our heritage. Because I firmly believe that if you go outside India, and I lived 13 years, like whenever we used to be invited, people used to say, you want an Indian beer? We say, yeah, okay, and then Kingfisher used to pop off to drink to that. So I think there's a lot of work the legacy brands have to do. But I think the reason, we will all capture this business opportunity. But I think what really inspired me, when I joined this company, people said, why you want to sell liquor? Are there better things to do and all? And I think you have to find your purpose. And I think last few months, I think what really hit me hard, and I just wanted to share this from a future perspective. I think, of course, there is enough analytical job to do to capture the business opportunity, right? And there is no doubt that there is a huge opportunity, and some of us we will like to play, some of us will not like to play, because some of our strengths of doing business at scale, creating big branding to do that, some we will customize and some will not. And some of the opportunities will be tapped by a lot of players in the industry. But one consistent theme is the whole concept of socializing. And every cohort we have seen, the need to socialize is going to be the paramount need. And I was in a global forum, because we are now part of global Heineken company. And we are doing some project on future consumer trends. Put the next one to do that. It's taking time. I think these were the three things which really hit hard. So globally, if you actually think, and this is especially for the youth, the three big trends which are really, really hitting hard, and we are silently observing this, is the increase in social anxiety. I was reading through how much hard work people do and the anxiety is there. And we do a lot of consumer work, Every week we meet at least 5 groups. So that's a discipline we have put in the last 1 year in the company. And I tell you, whether I'm in Hyderabad, whether I'm in Delhi or in Bangalore, when we meet the youngsters, the standard response is, I work very hard from Monday to Friday. On Saturday, I have a WhatsApp group. Sometimes it is my college group, sometimes it is my friends. We just meet for 3-4 hours to chill and relax. And there is an increase in social anxiety. Sorry, you go back. Or maybe we can stay there. So while the youngsters are aspiring, ambitious, there is a big problem where they are dealing with this fast-paced work, burnouts, time-pressed, seeking more social connections. And I do think that developing economy like us, an emerging economy, as we become bigger and bigger and bigger, this problem will become even more bigger, where most of us spend time on smartphones. You know, like my wife was telling me that we know each other for 30 years, but look how much we talk. When you are back, you are on the phone. Our sons are, you know, we have 5 people sitting in the home. Everyone has carrying their own mobile phones and all. And the social connections is a real issue. And this is a big issue right now there. And as modern India grows, we have to look at the social aspect other than the financial aspect of it. And that is where I think beer, wine, spirits can play a massive role. And beer is all about connecting people, about funship and friendship to really do that. 66% of our consumers, they want to socialize with friends and family. And they want to have a good time. They want to have a refreshing time. And I think there is a need to recognize that in our society and to make it in a responsible manner. And that's where, you know, responsible consumption, moderation, having, you know, environment to socialize and have fun, I think is the need, a compelling need of modern India. And, you know, recently, there's a lot of wars happening civil war happening in New Caledonia. And I was talking to the GM there, and they have burnt the water plant. They have burnt, you know, I think Coke or Pepsi plant. They have burnt a juice plant. Only thing they have not burnt is a beer plant. Because after the war, in the evening, the 2 groups come and they take the allocation of the beer. Because they just want to refresh and go to the war next time to really do that. So look, I think whether it's a legacy brand or anything, there is a big role to grow the category, to have fun. You know, maybe we can skip this one.
Last night you clapped.
Yeah, you want to play this one? Just to, yeah? Okay.
तो बेटे क्या प्लान है?
पापा प्लान तो गोवा का था, लेकिन अब क्यों?
Ta-da!
ये क्या?
गोवा!
गोवा बिना किंगफिशर के? घर पे किंगफिशर? वाह, क्या प्लान है?
ना?
चले? क्या? टोटल जैम। तो अब क्या प्लान है?
I am sorry, I didn't get that.
मैम से पूछ लेता हूँ।
सही है। तो क्या प्लान है?
The plan is ooh la la.
ये क्या प्लान है? ओह, क्या प्लान है? वाह, क्या प्लान है?
किंगफिशर, द किंग ऑफ गुड टाइम्स।
तो आपका क्या प्लान है?
ये जरूर खुला होगा। ये खाना मिलेगा?
रामो कुछ होगा क्या?
सिर्फ फ्राइड राइस। फ्राइड राइस विद फ्राइड राइस। सर दाल चावल। क्लोजिंग है। फ्राइड राइस चलेगा?
चलेगा नहीं सर, दौड़ेगा सर।
सर, और मिलेगा क्या? फ्राइड राइस।
Food tastes better with Kingfisher, the king of good time.
Yeah, I think the role of us is to making sure that people have good times. We protect this social culture to more than anything else. Of course, you know, the legacy brands have a big role to play because they drive category growth. There is a natural respect. There's a natural category cues which comes on together. So I do think we have a much bigger role to play as we were as a part of Made in India. And with this, I just want to invite these forums, and I've actually asked my team to also actively participate. We should just keep talking what will make things better. And I'm sure there are collaboration opportunities will emerge, and I want to thank the organizers for having these kind of forums as well. The warning, you want to have it? Yeah, and I think we are at the inflection point, and I would say beer is just getting started. Last few months, I don't think we have done justice to the industry, because the CAGR for the beer industry has been very low, around 2 to 3% volume growth. I firmly believe that we should be at least 10 to 12% every year from our industry, and all the innovations, and it will have to be a joint effort, and also consistently educating and working with the regulators that it is not only a revenue game, but it is a big need in a society to have fun, to have social connections, to have funship and friendship, to people drink to not get drunk, but to have good time. And I think this is where together we can play a big role. So thank you very much, and I appreciate it.